On the morning of December 1st, 2019, Chief Ignatius Odunukwe left his home on Maduke Street in Ikoyi, Lagos State, Nigeria, believing that he was about to complete one of the biggest business deals of his life. Chief Ignatius was expecting to receive 900 million naira for his property in Abuja. However, what the successful businessman didn't know was that he was about to embark on the kind of journey that he would never return from. Chief Ignatius Odunukwe was not just any ordinary businessman. The 67-year-old billionaire was the owner of the popular Fireman Generator Company. He was a philanthropist and a successful entrepreneur who had built his wealth through real estate development and gold mining. He came from Anambra State and was known for his kindness and willingness to help others. On that December morning, Chief Ignatius had visited his lawyer's office to collect the final draft of the document for the sale of his Abuja property. The lawyer had offered to accompany him to witness the transaction, but the chief declined, explaining that his journey was not straight. He needed to make a stop at the Ikoyi Club to meet someone before proceeding to meet the potential buyer. However, when hours passed and Chief Ignatius did not return home at his usual time, his family became deeply worried and began making phone calls to find out where he was. They tried calling his mobile phone numerous times, but there was no answer. They kept on trying until eventually the phone went completely dead. The family assumed that he had been kidnapped and then waited anxiously for a ransom call from the kidnappers. However, this call never came. Days turned into weeks and there was still no word from Chief Ignatius. The family had been asking around, but no one had any clue where the wealthy businessman had gone. It was then that they decided to reach out to his lawyer, who provided the first clue about what might have happened. The lawyer told the family that Chief Ignatius had indeed visited his office that morning to collect the documents for his 900 million naira property sale. Before it got to that point, the lawyer had wanted to look into the potential buyer, but the chief had asked him not to, stating that the potential buyer wanted to keep the transaction private. This information would prove crucial in the investigation that was about to begin. Unable to wait any longer, the family reported the case to the police at Zone 2 Command in Lagos. The police immediately swung into action, treating it as a possible kidnapping case. However, what they would discover in the course of their investigation would turn out to be far worse than anyone would have imagined. The first breakthrough came when the police traced the chief's car using its tracking system. The vehicle was found at a location near a hotel in Aja, Lagos State. This discovery led to the arrest of Israel Abigaremu, a 35-year-old Uber driver who had the car parked in his compound. During questioning, Israel claimed he was innocent and that he had no knowledge of any crime. He explained that a man named Arinze had brought the car to his house on December 1st, telling him it belonged to his master, who had traveled out of the country. Arinze had promised to return the next day to collect it, but he never did. Israel's statement led the police to their next suspect, who was Arinze Igwe, a 26-year-old former hotel worker. When Arinze was arrested and interrogated, he revealed shocking information about what had really happened to Chief Ignatius. Arinze told the police that he knew a man named Daniel Bob Ibeaji, who was a regular customer at the hotel where he worked. On December 1st, Daniel had called him to report that a man who had come to visit them in the hotel had died while inside the room. Daniel had begged Arinze to help them move the body out of the hotel without anyone knowing. The trail then led investigators to Daniel Bob Ibeaji, a 42-year-old man who claimed to be a medical doctor from the United Kingdom. Daniel presented himself as a qualified surgeon and even claimed to be a fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons. When people later struggled to believe that he was a real medical doctor, Daniel would express confidence in his claims by stating that he was from a rich family and that he had left to study in the UK in 1995. He would also make it clear that all people needed to do to confirm the legality of his certification was to call the college because he was one of the best products of the university at the time. He would also reveal that when he returned from the UK in 2010, he was hired by Holy Trinity Hospital in Area 2, Abuja, where he practiced as a plastic and reconstructive consultant surgeon. When Daniel was first arrested, he completely denied any involvement in the chief's disappearance. He admitted to meeting the businessman that day, but claimed he had concluded their business transaction successfully and had seen Chief Ignatius drive away in his car before he left the hotel. When the police asked him for proof to show that he had indeed paid Chief Ignatius for the property, Daniel claimed he had paid for the property with gold, not cash. However, the police were not convinced by his story. During a search of Daniel's home, they found the signed documents of Chief Ignatius' property in his room. This was clear evidence that something was wrong with Daniel's version of events. The final piece of the puzzle came from an unexpected source. A fourth member of the gang, Solomon Cletus, had been arrested in Abuja over a completely different offense. While Solomon was in custody, detectives noticed that he was receiving numerous threatening phone calls and text messages. The callers were warning him not to reveal what he knew about Chief Ignatius' death, and they even threatened to kill him if he talked. The police became suspicious and decided to investigate further. They brought Solomon to Lagos, where he finally broke down and confessed his involvement in the murder. More importantly, he named Daniel Ibeaji as the mastermind behind the entire operation. Following Solomon's confession, Daniel could no longer deny his involvement. In a shocking confession that would horrify the nation, Daniel revealed exactly how he had planned and executed the murder of Chief Ignatius Odunukwe. Daniel explained that he had first seen an advertisement for Chief Ignatius' property sale in Abuja. He had contacted the chief to express his interest in buying the property and had then met once in Abuja when Chief Ignatius was attending an event in the city. Daniel had lied to Chief Ignatius about needing the property to build a hospital, using his claimed medical credentials to gain the businessman's trust. Over several months, he had carefully planned the perfect crime, recruiting Solomon Cletus and Arinze Igwe to help him carry out the murder. On December 1st, 2019, Daniel had scheduled a meeting with Chief Ignatius at a hotel in Lagos. The unsuspecting businessman had arrived at the hotel carrying the drafted documents for his property and expecting to complete a legitimate business transaction. Meanwhile, Daniel had prepared a large sack which he claimed contained the 900 million naira payment for the property. After they had signed the documents, Chief Ignatius bent down to look into the sack in order to confirm that the money was there. This gave Daniel the opening to strike him hard on the head using the backside of an axe. The other suspects then rushed in to help him hold down the struggling businessman. Despite being attacked with the axe, Chief Ignatius continued to plead and struggle for his life. Daniel then brought out 2 syringes and gave him a lethal injection of a sedative drug, which he had obtained from a pharmacy by identifying himself as a medical doctor and also filling out the needed documentation. He administered 2 doses of the drug, and Chief Ignatius became calm before eventually dying from his injuries. After killing Chief Ignatius, the gang faced the problem of disposing of his body without being caught. They wrapped the body in a bag, and with Arinze's help, they carried it through the back door of the hotel. Arinze knew the layout of the hotel very well. Since he had been working there, he was able to guide them through areas where they would not be seen. The body was loaded into a waiting vehicle and then driven to a remote location in Ogombo Forest, near a canal in Aja, Lagos State, where the body was dumped. Daniel then went home with the signed property documents, planning to wait until the investigation into the chief's disappearance had died down before coming out to claim ownership of the 900 million naira property. During the investigation, police discovered that Daniel was not doing this for the first time. He had allegedly been involved in similar murders in the past, using the same method of pretending to buy expensive properties and then killing the owners. One of his previous victims was a commissioner from Bayelsa State named Honorable Depologa. Like Chief Ignatius, the commissioner had been murdered after meeting with Daniel at a hotel in Abuja for a business deal involving the sale of a block of flats worth 220 million naira. His body had been found along Abuja Road 1 week after the meeting. Daniel had also attempted to end the life of another victim, Jude Efule, who was a property developer. In this case, Daniel had lured Jude to an undisclosed location under the pretense of payment for a property. He had locked Jude in a room and then forced him to sign a check for 9 million naira. However, Jude was luckier than the others. When Daniel's accomplices went to the bank to withdraw the money, Jude managed to escape from the unlocked room and then shouted for help. The neighbors heard his cries and then called the police, who made their way to the scene. This incident had led to Daniel's arrest, and he had spent 11 months in Kuje prison. But instead of learning from this experience and changing his ways, Daniel had continued his criminal activities, eventually leading to the murder of Chief Ignatius. On January 21st, 2020, more than a month after Chief Ignatius had gone missing, the suspects led the police to the area where they had dumped the body. The decomposed remains of the chief were evacuated, and later handed over to the family for proper burial. During his confession, Daniel expressed regret for his actions, admitting that his lust for money had driven him to commit the murder. The other suspects also provided details about their involvement in the crime. Solomon revealed that Daniel had promised to pay him 2 million naira for his participation in the crime, while Arinze claimed he only helped to move the body because he thought the man had died accidentally and that Daniel had also promised him 2 million naira as loan. Sadly, none of the accomplices ever received the money they were promised. Daniel had used them to carry out his evil plan and then abandoned them when the investigation began.
It was the address, the advert on the board. Yes, in this property. It wasn't an online thing. Okay. So I think the security of the house now called him that someone is interested, and that was how he ordered the person to give me his contact. Then we talked. So his visit to Lagos, to Abuja, we met. Then he came to Lagos. When I invited him over the property sale, and I invited him to my hotel room. He came to my hotel room. Before then, they've already stationed in my room. So when he came, we were able to, I screamed at him at the point of trying to grip his fears. We were able to get him from the back, and while he was still struggling, then I used the diazepam.
What called the name?
Diazepam.
Why did you use the diazepam? You gave him through oral or through body?
No,
intravenous?
Intramuscular from the...
How many millimeters?
No, it's 2.5 mil. That's two vials.
How many injections?
Just two.
Just two injections. So what happened after the injection?
Then after which, I think he relaxed himself, he slept off. Then because of the axe that was used and all of that, so...
The axe, where did you use the axe on his body?
I think it was used on the head. Solomon and Arinze, and one other driver brought him to this place.
From the
In the
hotel?
what?
From the hotel, yes.
How?
The night of that day.
How did you bring him?
How did you bring him?
It was packaged.
Packaged in what? The body was packaged in what?
In a carton and a sack.
Okay.
How were you able to squeeze him into the out of the hotel?
I wasn't in when they did it, but
Who did it?
Maybe
Solomon, how did you move the body out of the hotel?
Your name.
My name is Solomon Plato.
How did you move the body out of the hotel?
After the chief passed away, he ordered us to help take the body away from the hotel.
So
From there, the body was put in a Ghana must go. Then from the Ghana must go, supported with a carton. One of us who happens to be Arinze, who says he was once a staff of the hotel that knows a back road, a back door from the hotel. It was
the back door of the hotel.
Yes.
So you moved the body out of the hotel through the back door.
Through the back door, through the laundry section.
So it means that you know the hotel very well.
I knows the hotel very well.
Are people sleeping in the hotel?
Truly, the laundry has been closed, and it was the help of that other person that said he has worked.
Who?
Arinze.
Arinze is here. Touch him. Where is Arinze? This is Arinze.
He's the one that knows the in and out.
Then out hotel. Okay, so he led you out of the hotel.
Yes.
So when you got here, what happened? At what point did you chop the body?
That's about 7 to 8 p.m.
PM. When did you leave the hotel?
We were all that same at that within that hour. From here to the hotel is not that too far.
How much you decide to chop him?
Say it's a good loaner. That was how I was invited.
How much? Just tell us how much was the amount.
2 million to start up a business.
Arinze, how much? How much you are promised to be given
I've
by
never killed before.
by Bob? How much?
2 million.
Eh?
2 million.
2 million. Say it loud. How much?
2 million.